We have 8 on your side, team coverage of the verdict that shocked a lot of people. Casey Anthony found not guilty of killing her daughter, Kaylee. Peter Bernard is live in Pinellas County tonight, where our local jurors began their journey. We also have an attorney in studio for expert analysis of today's verdicts. And Jennifer Lee is live in Orlando. We'll start with you, Peter.
Hi there. This is where it all started, as you mentioned, but this is apparently not where it's going to be ending. Orange County Sheriff deputies are escorting a small number of those jurors back to their homes here in Pinellas County. We're being told that the majority are staying in Orlando with their families, at least for the time being. And if you were watching any of this coverage earlier, you know not one single regular juror has agreed to speak to the media. Now, here's a look at the dramatic afternoon as that verdict came down.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
It was a verdict that echoed around the country. Casey Anthony, free of first-degree murder charges.
As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Free of child abuse charges.
As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict as to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011.
And free of manslaughter charges in the death of her 2-year-old daughter, Kaylee. But what a Pinellas County jury did find Casey Marie Anthony guilty of was lying.
As to the charge of providing false information to a law enforcement officer, verdict as to count 4. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of providing false information to a law enforcement officer as charged in the indictment.
Sentencing proceedings begin on Thursday on misdemeanor charges of lying to law enforcement.
Again, thank you. You're hereby discharged, and I will see you shortly back in the jury room.
Afterward, a relieved Jose Baez spoke to reporters about his hatred of the death penalty and his mission in taking this case in the first place.
While we're happy for Casey, there are no winners in this case. Kaylee has passed on far, far too soon. And what my driving force has been for the last 3 years has been always to make sure that there has been justice for Kaylee.
And back here live, I spoke to Bay Area criminal defense attorney John Trevina. He says today's verdict is reminiscent of the O.J. Simpson outcome. He calls this verdict stunning, and he worries what impression that this verdict will leave on the public. And some, he worries, may think that the justice system is more like a roulette wheel. Guilty, not guilty. Again, no jurors are going to be returning to this location. They're being escorted by Orange County Sheriff deputies to their home. The few that are coming back tonight, most are staying in Orlando. Keith?
All right, Peter, thank you very much.
Well, a whole lot of people had the exact same thought when they heard today's verdict, and that was what brought the jurors to this not guilty decision. Pinellas defense attorney Roger Futerman joining us. Now, it was the state's job to come in there and prove without a reasonable doubt that, in fact, she killed her daughter. Was there ever enough evidence to prove that from the beginning?
I thought the state had a strong circumstantial case. The jury didn't think so, but I thought so. A strong circumstantial case, especially to maybe second-degree murder.
Second degree. Mm-hmm. That's what you were expecting.
That's what I expected.
For the ninth
okay. Well, we're hearing it was in fact a unanimous decision by these jurors, though. So the jurors pretty much came together and said, you know, we can't put this girl to death because she killed her daughter, because we just don't think there's enough of it there. What was there anything you think that was just hanging them up to say we can't come back with a guilty verdict here?
Well, not only not guilty to first-degree murder, but not guilty to all the facts,
right.
which was really surprising to me. Impossible to speculate.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know what was said back there. You don't know what the basis for the reason is, and maybe we'll find out, but impossible to speculate.
Do you think it was the whole idea of what was her motive? Was that proven enough in what we heard throughout this trial?
We could speculate, and it could be a whole multitude of reasons. We just don't know.
All right. Okay, seemingly a lot of anger now, it appears, at least outside the courtroom, being directed at these jurors. So far, none of the ones, except for one of the alternates, has chosen to speak at all about this. Do you anticipate that they will remain silent, or will they come out and say, you know, this is why we came to this is why and how we came to this decision?
I think they will. Maybe not collectively, but individually, when people maybe make some personal attacks on some of the decision-making process, I think people are going to come out and defend themselves and explain why they came to that rationale.
But again, you were surprised with this.
I was surprised, especially as quickly as it was resolved. I personally was surprised, but the old adage, you never know what the jury's going to do, proved true again.
No, you absolutely don't. Don't go away. We're going to talk to you more at 6 o'clock and really talk about the job that you guys have as defense attorneys connecting with the jurors. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Roger Futerman here with us right now.
Thanks.
Keith?